Hi guys, welcome back to the Cocktails and Culture podcast with myself, Brigethia Arai.
And I'm Benjamin Coy.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, y'all. We are so happy to be here again.
Yes.
Before we get into the we have to do a little recap from our New York Fashion Week fabulous time that we had. What a moment.
That was a moment. It was so much fun.
To be alive. Yeah.
That was our first time. It was actually my first time. Like, I've interviewed people, but that was a different vibe for me. Ben, I feel like you're like a pro there. So, you know, that was my first time doing it. But I think after I got in, I got really, it was good. It was a lot going on in New York. What were we there for 12 hours?
Yes, literally a 12-hour in and out, baby.
Yeah,
noon to midnight. It was
the day
a
that
mess.
we had.
But
it
also,
was a
like,
lot going on.
You say that you were learning whatever, but you look like a pro as well. Like,
Thank
it
you.
Gave professional red carpet E news. Give us a call. It gave that, so I'm proud of you, friend.
Thank
Good
you.
job. But yes, it was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But also shout out to the after party for first of all curating that event. So again, the After Party NYC, they put together these events to bring together Black creatives and just create community, authentic community, more importantly. So shout out to Jody and C and Sarai and the entire team for inviting us, curating that event, and just making sure we all had a good time, y'all.
And thank you for thinking of us.
Yes.
But the content will be coming soon. I know a lot of you guys been asking where are the interviews. They're coming, y'all. It was a lot of interviews. It was a lot of things going on. So we will have the content so you guys can see.
Yes.
But yes, we had so much fun in New York Fashion Week.
We did. Right now. So today we have a special guest, Tiffany Green-Williams, who is a wonderful, wonderful stylist, again, in honor of Fashion Month. So a little bit about Tiffany. Born in New York City, Queens to be exact, Tiffany Green-Williams is a seasoned professional in fashion styling, marketing, experiential design, and multimedia management. Tiffany's journey in fashion began as a personal stylist at Nordstrom, where a charity event she coordinated opened two paths, one leading to event management and the other leading to personal styling. After choosing the latter, she found herself immersed in the world of client services, understanding the essence of grace, patience, and introspection. In 2021, Tiffany launched her personal styling business, Style by Tip, where she creates meaningful experiences and transformative impacts for her clients. Her motto, Be You Intentionally, I'll say that one more time, Be You Intentionally, encapsulates her belief in the power of intentional choices and authenticity with a mission to amplify the beauty in every person engaging in an intentional and collaborative process. Please welcome my bestie, Tiffany Green-Williams.
Welcome, Tiffany. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you feeling? You look amazing.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Hey, guys.
Yes.
Of course, honey. Yes. Let's say that one more time, honey. Girl, you look amazing, okay? And expect nothing less from a experienced fashion stylist, of course. You look beautiful. So
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Now, of course, this is the Cocktails and Culture podcast. So before we get into the culture, we must introduce our cocktail. So, Brigethia, what are we pouring up with today, honey?
So today we are having a little champagne, and then we have like a nice little island lemonade mix.
Yes.
So let's see what this is giving today. I like this juice mix. This is pretty good.
Okay.
Actually.
Also, so I chose the mocktail today. So I have a little ginger beer with the same limeade mix.
I like
and
that.
this might become a new favorite of mine.
Yeah, it's cute.
This is delicious.
This is a good mix. I really like this.
I've been seeing lately, like, a lot of people really been getting into
the
mocktails.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of my friends was posting, she lives in New York, and it's like certain shops where you can go that has like no alcohol in, like, you know, different. And I was like, that's so interesting. So you can get you like a little, I guess, a nice feeling, but not with alcohol.
Yeah.
Did you guys see I think it's Drink Masters? Did you ever watch that?
Drink Champs.
No, Drink Masters.
Drink Champs is no.
So shout out to Drink Champs.
No, it's
They
Drink
do
Masters.
not. They be drinking liquor, baby. They do not drink no.
It was the Top
mocktails.
Chef for bartenders. It came out on Netflix, I don't know, a year or maybe two ago. There's the season 1 winner was from DC, actually.
Really?
Black
Oh,
woman.
nice.
From Harlem.
Okay.
But anyway, during that show, go back and binge watch it. It's a great show. But during that show, they were really highlighting mocktails. Like they had a few challenges where they had to make cocktails, but they couldn't use alcohol, or they had to use some sort of 0% alcohol, which I'm not sure how that works. But I remember seeing that, like, oh, okay, that's really cool that they're starting to
Yeah.
Really
I think it's interesting because at the end of the day, I don't think anyone loves. I mean, you like the way it makes you feel in the moment, but sometimes
the taste is not.
The taste don't be good, and then the night after, depending on what you're drinking, obviously you can have a headache or hangovers. I haven't really had a hangover though these last couple of years. I think that's because hangovers no more.
I think that's because we have no shade, but we have elevated the alcohol that we drink.
Right, that's a big part of it.
And I feel like that is where the hangovers come from. Yeah, like if we're drinking cheaper.
Yeah,
like I refuse.
No shade.
I refuse.
You go somewhere and they're like, "Oh, they're giving out shots," and I'm like, "Of what?
Of what? Exactly.
My mom always told me
I don't
that.
even want it. I'll pay for it.
Like, you need to buy the top shelf. You do not need to. I'm like, girl. Period. But that's true. And I feel like you have to set yourself up. Like now I know I need to make sure I eat because when I was in college, girl, I was just out here just drinking.
We all did.
Mom, I'm sorry, but that's what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
And you have to drink water. Now, my best friend taught me that, like, drinking water and drinking shots is, like,
I do that. You know, I be having my water.
Yes, you do, baby.
My sip,
but you not taking shots, though. I don't. Yeah, so don't lie to the people now.
I'll take a shot. I'm not a shot girl, honey. Yes. I don't like the shots, but I will take shots. Yeah. But, it's hard.
But back to what you said about the non-alcoholic bar. There's one in DC called Binge Bar, and so they're completely sober, and it's a great vibe, and their mocktails are so good. You kind of forget that there's no alcohol in it because I don't know what the concoction is, but it still gives like cocktail. But shout out to them. So Binge Bar, I think it's also on H Street.
I'm really trying to think if I've actually ever had a mocktail. And I don't think I have.
Well, I had one at our last episode.
Oh, yes.
I don't think I have.
But I don't know if...
What's that say
my
about
only thing, though, is... I'm going to be real.
I'm dead.
My only thing is that, like, if I want to drink, I probably want to drink.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to spend $15 on something that ain't got no liquor in it. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's just me being honest. It's juice.
It's really good juice.
So it depends on the mood.
Not always, though, y'all. It's not always juice. That's what I'm saying. Like, the show that you were probably watching, it's based in juice, but like there's other
things.
Oh, they were straining stuff and yeah, you're right. They were doing all type of things.
But I guess when you look back at it, the basis is still
It depends, but I respect it because one day maybe when I have a baby and I still want to have me a little moment, I might want to get me a nice mocktail, and I want to feel like I'm really going for drinks.
Y'all, like,
so I respect that. Or like, I'm having a dry February, January, whatever.
Like on New Year. So my grandparents do not drink alcohol at all. But they always want to be a part of our little champagne toasts. So we give them like Welch's grape juice, the little sparkling grape juice. So it's, you're still a part of the mix. You're still in the get to know, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, we love mocktails.
Love that. Yes, we love mocktails.
Yes.
So let's get into it, Tiffany. So we know that you're a native of Queens, New York City. So take us back to you growing up and kind of what got you interested in fashion? Like what kind of kicked that off for you?
What got me interested in fashion? I'm going to say it comes from my mother.
Yes,
she used to work on Fifth Avenue. She worked in multiple stores and retail stores. She says that, she just actually brought this up very recently. She said that I met Diana Ross in one of the stores that she worked in. I don't know if it was Saks or whichever store she was in. And she like left me with her while she went to go get her something. And she was very upset at Thanksgiving that I did not recall this memory. And I'm like, Mom, like 3.
I'll be upset too.
I was like 3. What do you want me to do? I was like 3. I don't remember this. But anyway, she was just heavily into the fashion industry. And so she just kind of passed that on to me.
I love that. I feel like it always kind of starts at home because I have memories of just seeing my mom get dressed up and like just watching her and be like, oh, I can't wait till one day I could get dressed up and go somewhere for real.
I used to
like go out or whatever.
I used to love going to my mom's room or my grandma's room as they were getting dressed for church specifically, and just like you said, just watching them, like how they pick out the clothes, put it together, like the whole shebang is always so beautiful. Yeah.
Honestly, like. Maybe more like 70% now. I used to be like 90, but 70%, maybe 65% of my wardrobe came from my mother. Like stuff she used to wear, because I just kept it because I didn't want to like just toss it, and I didn't realize the things that I had until I got older. So I have like gems that are like decades old, but they're like gems, and they all come from her.
Right.
I love that. Shout out to Mom, and we'll get into that too because that is sustainable fashion, baby.
Is.
And the girls nowadays don't have that. They're not into that anymore. But we're gonna I'm gonna save that for later on in the conversation.
Okay.
We'll come back to that and put a pin there.
Okay.
You are quite the entrepreneur, okay? Having started Style by Tip, like I said, in 2021, your personal styling business, and being a partner for a content creation haven, Artscapes. What led you though to wanting to become an entrepreneur and go down that path?
I just, the way my personality is set up, it's the best environment for it. I'm extremely ambitious. I've always been that way, and I've always had like just really high expectations for myself. And so I think that lends itself to being an entrepreneur or a small business owner. And so just really wanting to do things my way, and also just like having this much creativity in my head and not really being able to find places that would let me be as creative as I wanted to be. And that kind of, I was just stuck in that sort of like loop for a long time. I'm like, oh, I have all these ideas, and then they only want to take like this little percent of it. And I'm like, but I got all this stuff. And they're like, we'll come back to that later. And I'm like, well, I got all of this. And the later never comes. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll go somewhere else and I can give it to them. And at some point, and of course, like my friends and family just kept encouraging me. They're like, well, instead of giving all of this creative, assets to other people, use it for yourself.
And with that, how do you, because I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, right? So with that, how did you stay inspired in those moments to where like, man, I really have this great idea and they're just not hearing me? Like in those moments to keep like your hope alive and just keep that momentum up to like, one day I'll be able to work on blah, 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 what I really want to do.
I think that I just believed in my ideas so much, like just that ambition and that passion. I'm like, this is gonna come to fruition. I have to make this thing come into fruition because I can see it. I saw on Instagram some time ago, they were talking about people that can see images and things in their head. I can describe something and I can see it in my head. And then some people aren't able to do that. And it wasn't until the latter few years that I realized that some people can't do that. So when I'm describing something, I literally can see it in my head and some people can't. And for a person that can see it, I'm looking at it right now. I need it to come to the universe that I'm in.
Exactly.
And so whatever I got to do to get it out of my head into the universe that I'm in, like that's just what I'm going to do.
Now, along with that though, what advice would you give to the person that is sitting in their 9-to-5? They have these ideas in their head. They are trying to describe it or trying to figure out how to push past those barriers. What advice would you give them, and what advice would you give an entrepreneur who is starting out from the beginning?
Okay, I think I heard two questions.
Yes. So the person who is sitting in the desk, sitting at the 9-to-5, what advice would you give them who has the idea but they're not being heard, basically?
Okay. My advice is keep on talking about it. Keep on talking about it. Keep it somewhere. Write it down. Illustrate it somewhere, but keep on talking about it. Like the things or the type of when I was in events, like the type of events I wanted to work on or the ideas for the events that I had, the design ideas, I shopped them to multiple jobs until I got to one that allowed me to do it. And some of the ideas that I haven't been able to do, I will now do them for myself. But so my advice is to keep that idea alive. Like whether you have to document it somewhere or you just keep talking about it, somehow somebody's going to listen to you or someone's going to hear it and say, "Oh, that's cool. I want to see what that looks like."
Right.
Somebody.
Yeah.
And so if you just keep it alive, I think that's just the path there. What's the second question again?
And then what advice do you have for budding entrepreneurs who are starting out and are just now new in the game and discovering what business they want to start? What advice do you give them?
Ooh, child. Where do I even begin? I think, this has been said, but I'm just going to say it again anyway. It is not, I'm not going to say it seems easy. I think sometimes there is a perception that entrepreneurship is easy. It is extremely difficult. And I think that I just really want to emphasize that to people that are just getting into it. It is rewarding, but it is very, very difficult. It is not something where it's not a wake up and do it sort of thing. It literally is a choice every day. And it's very, very challenging because it's just you. So when you have that umbrella of your 9 to 5, and you can use their resources, whether it's financial or it's another colleague or coworker or someone to help you, or network. Like at Nordstrom, that was what scared me from leaving Nordstrom, because you have clients there. Once you leave and you're on your own, I have to build my own clientele. So you don't have all of those things, and you're literally building everything from the ground up, let alone just the business sense of it, of actually running the business. So you have the part where you execute, and that's what everybody else wants to do. Like, I want to go and I want to execute. I just want to do the thing and get paid for it. But you have to actually run the business. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's you running the business and executing. And so for people just getting into it, I would really, really advise that they have a business plan, sit back and think about not just the execution, like not just how am I going to do the things and who am I going to serve, which is important, but how am I going to run the business? What platforms am I going to use? How am I going to talk to my clients? How am I going to reach my clients? What's my marketing plan? All of those things, I feel like a lot of people just put on the back burner because they just want to get out and do, but they're essential to a successful business.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that in, because like you said, we only see the glory, we only see the rewarding part, but we don't really listen to the part of, oh, these 5-10 years I was in the mud, I was doing this, and we don't really spend that time to be like, girl, it was difficult before I got here. So thank you for really sitting that in and being like, girl, it is hard, but it is also rewarding.
It is.
Yeah, it's a both and.
And I feel like some people may think that it's the easier way, but it's definitely not.
No.
I think it's much harder to leave your comfort to open up something on your own and be an entrepreneur versus staying in. It definitely brings some comfort being able to like know that you have this job, that you have, you got this salary, you got this 401k, you have all this stuff, you have all these benefits coming to you. Is definitely like a more comfortable space to be in, for sure. Yeah. So with Style by Tip, I know you recently celebrated 3 years anniversary, so congratulations.
Thank you.
So take us back to 2022 when you were establishing everything, and what was your inspiration?
22 or 21?
21, I'm sorry, 2021, yes.
When I was just like breaking in. So my inspiration was just really wanting to connect people to all of the positivity that they had inside. And so what I mean by that is, a lot of times people have all these feelings or this vision of themselves, or they want to feel a certain type of way. And you can do that through clothing. You can do that through styling. And it was kind of like my way of, bringing positivity and bringing optimism and just making people feel good. Like just put it plainly. And so I noticed that when I was at Nordstrom, that clothing and styling had the power to do that. And so it's not something that never went away from me. And I kind of just focused on doing it for myself. Like, my style is art. So I consider myself an artist. Yes. And I just use myself as a palette. And I just thought, I can't be the only person. I'm not the only person that can get this much joy out of creating art. There's so many other people that appreciate that. And so I really just wanted to share that. And I think some people, or not some people, but I kept running into or having conversations where people viewed it as difficult. They're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I like color, or I like to, I like to dress up. I just don't know what to choose. So I'm just going to, wear black every day. Just an example. There's nothing wrong with black. Just an example. And I'm like, the difference in attitude and stature, putting this person I'm not actually thinking about in a neon green suit, it was like night and day, and they didn't realize and know that they can look and feel so good, but just by a simple change of exterior. And so thinking about that and then connecting that to business owners specifically and entrepreneurs specifically that put all of this work and energy into the rest of their branding, their visual assets and all of their collateral and their logo and their graphics and their fonts. And you, as a business owner, you're a personal brand. Your personal brand is part of your brand identity. So it should have just as much work and dedication as the rest of your brand package. You're part of your brand package. And so was seeing a lot of business owners skip over themselves. And I'm like, you're not representing your business the way that you want to. Let me help. I can help you do that. And so that kind of that goal is kind of like what was the final straw, so to speak, into me actually saying, okay, let me establish Style by Tip.
Right. I love that. And again, it goes back to your model of be you intentionally. You need to be intentional about representing your brand, representing who you are, and you speak so passionately about it, y'all. I just love how, like, I hope it's coming across how just you are really, I'm enamored by the way you speak about it. So thank you for, again, for that. Now, switching gears, or along with that, you're coming up with your new series, where it is Be You, Brand You, Personal Brand Styling Series, where you'll be teaching some folks how to do this, and giving some insights. You've invited some experts. So talk to us a little bit about that. What do you have coming up? How can they find it? And what are some of the topics that they can look forward to?
Yes, so I'm super excited about this. So Be You, Brand You is a styling series that I put together 4 parts. So the first one is actually this upcoming weekend, Saturday at 11 a.m. It's at Artscape live, but you can also join virtually. And so the entire series is catered to entrepreneurs, business owners, small business owners, but also just high-level professionals or just anyone that just wants to learn more about connecting their personality to their exterior and to how they dress themselves. And so the very first one, let me back up. The reason I came up with this is because part of my business and part of my relationship with my clients is education. And so it's not just, let me put this cute outfit on you. Right. It's how does this wardrobe connect you back to your brand? So if your brand is supposed to represent, sustainability, and if your brand is representing that, then that's a certain type of look in wardrobe and maybe even color that we're going to focus on, versus if it's energetic and fast paced. There's different things. And so walking and talking my clients through that so they can understand that, hey, I know this outfit is cute, but this doesn't go with your brand. So knowing that I'm having a lot of those conversations, I said, you know what, let me start a series where I kind of have a broader conversation, because this is not as known as maybe I think it is. Right? So that's where the idea to have this series came from. And so the first class is kind of focused directly on that. It's kind of going through, if they don't have a brand identity established, kind of helping them understand how that works, how do you create one, what that looks like, and then kind of going through, okay, this is my brand identity, how do I connect this to my personal style? What is my personal style? What's personal branding? All of those like questions that I feel or kind of sometimes feel like are basic, or they're basic knowledge to me, but they're not basic knowledge to the clients that I've had. So I wanted to use this platform to kind of share it more broadly and just give that kind of education. So when they do work with me or any other brand stylist, they understand the difference between a cute outfit and one that's cohesive with their brand. Exactly. And so each class after that, I focus on a subtopic. So the first one is that broader topic. The second, I have a lifestyle photographer coming in, and she'll share that perspective and why lifestyle photography, because that's a different style than fashion photography. So why choose this type of photography rather than fashion? How does this work? How do you make this work for your brand? What do you do with the collateral afterwards? So we'll go through all of that. The third one, we focus on hair, different hairstyles and what kind of styles may correspond back to different brand values, and etc. And then the very last one, I have a makeup artist, super excited. I've worked with her for a really long time. She actually was it a Grammy or Emmy? Emmy, nominated for Emmy not too long ago. Yeah, I'm like, oh, I knew you back then. And so we'll come in, same sort of premise. This is the type of makeup that I suggest when you're doing a brand shoot. If this is your focus, if your core value is, fabulousness, because that could be a core value. If that's your core value, then this is the type of makeup look that you might want to focus on versus others. So just helping people understand, like, this is how you feel, this is how you want to represent. These are ways that you can create your visual representation to the world. It's not quite like it is a science and it isn't, because everyone's different and everyone views things differently. But there are just certain things and certain looks where people will see something and perceive it a certain way. Yeah. And just like, there's certain colors that make people feel a certain way. And so kind of just like using or giving that education to all of the clients or all of the class participants, like that's really the main goal of the series.
And again, we talk about a little bit about sustainability earlier. It goes beyond just the threads and the clothes you wear. It is about how can I, like you said, not just put an outfit together, but how can I make sure you can put an outfit together for yourself?
Yes.
And you know that, again, when you're working with other stylists, what matches me and what doesn't. So yeah, I think it's very important that you're doing this series and giving that education, doing that piece. So thank you.
Yeah, very excited.
I love the education aspect of it. Even with like hairstylists, like don't just let them get whatever style. Like if they don't need to dye their hair blonde, teach them. And I think that's what like older school like hairstylists and stuff would do. Like they really educate it a lot more.
Yes.
And like, no, baby, you don't need to get that because that ain't gonna work. Like your hair is not healthy enough for that. Like I love the teaching and the education aspect to it.
Yes, like the hairstyles I have. Her name is Brittany Evans. She's based in Columbia. She's been in the business like 20 years, so she's coming from all of that. Yeah. And she actually specializes in natural hair care. So part of the class, like we'll talk about a lot of natural styles, which is something that I want to consciously start to incorporate, especially since I'm dealing more with clients that are in the professional world and feel like they can't or should not do that. So that was important for me to make sure and include in the courses.
I love that because natural hair is professional.
Period.
Braids, whatever style you want to get your afro, whatever.
Yes.
Love that.
It comes out of your hair, girl, so it's professional.
Exactly. So let's talk about your fashion icons. So if you had to choose 3, who would they be and why?
What a setup question is this? 3. Okay. Well, oh my God, 3. Fashion icons. Oh my goodness. Well, we just gonna go ahead and start off with Queen Bee.
Yes.
I mean,
because
I mean, she is the standard after all.
At this point, and goes back to what you said about like intentional branding. She is very intentional.
One of the best examples that's out here
is what's happening right now.
What's happening right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not even because her personal.
I'm sorry, pause. What's happening right now for the folks who are not tapped in? Beyonce is beginning a country era. Okay, and so prior to her releasing the song, just what Act 2 is going to be, she was seen often in Western wear, lighter blonde hair, all things that we in our mind perceive as country. She began to morph into that once she finished her Renaissance era.
Subtly.
So
I loved it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, very subtle with it. Very
but that's
subtle
how you do it.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
Go ahead.
Yes, so I love her for that. And it's not even because my personal style aligns with Beyonce's personal style. It's because of the courageousness that she shows and the intentionality that she shows. Yeah. These little nuances, just even in the Renaissance gear with the cowboy boots and stuff. She was thinking about this then.
Right.
And so just that sort of intentionality is why I love her. So that's number 1. Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yes.
Another
she's one of my favorites.
Fearless. And again, it's not even because I'd wear personally what she wears. Maybe some things, but it's not like every time I see her I'm like, oh my goodness, I would wear this too. I love it on her. She's extremely intentional. She knows what works for her body. She's not afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
And I love how she just marries just different elements all of the time. Yeah. Like she'll mix up her silhouette. Yes. She'll mix up her hair. She has fun.
Yes. Yeah.
She has fun.
She's a closet that I would absolutely love to read. And I know she has some pieces from her mother.
Yes.
I know she got some pieces.
What?
Yes.
What? And then the last one, I feel like it has to be a guy, but which one? I'm gonna say.
I'm sorry, Philly. Y'all gotta
don't do the guys like that. Don't do the guys.
Some of y'all be cute, but I just be getting bored with men's fashion. We were just talking about the other day. Like, I just want people to take more risks.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other conversation, honestly and truly, because you take risks and then you perceive it a certain way, and the world has its own things and its own perceptions of when you take those risks. So I feel like that also plays into it too. So,
but I will say that the rappers the last several years, they've been dressing like bad beats because I'm like, okay, not the lace shirt, okay, and I appreciate that. Migos was one of the like hoodest groups, and they literally was coming out with a full length fur, like Offset be just wearing whatever, like, and I feel like they, even though obviously some of them do have some other things that are like, you be like, okay, are you a little homophobic a little bit? I'm not saying that the Migos are, but I'm just saying like in general, like, yeah, but I feel like those like masculine presenting or people feel is that like when they step outside the box, I think that can encourage other men to be like, okay,
he did it, so
I can do it. If Offset wore this outfit, then I feel more comfortable in who I am to like take some risk with my fashion. So
Yes.
You got to get there though.
Yeah, you got to get there. You got to build it up. You can't just
John Doe walking out on the side of the street, he not going to get the same respect as the Migos. And it's no shade, like, you know, unless you are me, honey, because I do get that respect when I walk.
Yes, you should.
But okay, I'm sorry. So we have
Beyonce,
Beyonce, we have Tracy Ellis Ross, who are also my two. And actually, I would wear everything that Tracy Ellis Ross wears.
I love
everything.
I'm not tall enough, but I like it.
I guess maybe that's why I would wear it, because I am tall.
I was trying to remember his name. He was just in Color Purple.
Coleman Domingo.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had three. I know you said I had three, but then I thought of three other people. Kelly Rowland.
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't say her first. Well, because Beyonce, but Kelly Rowland, because she's been, I don't know, why are we not paying attention to her?
Yeah.
But for years.
Yes.
For years.
Consistently.
Very
For
consistent.
years.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years, every time I see, every time.
The hair is always good. The makeup, the outfit, everything.
Never misses.
And then and Billy Porter, because I love him. Love him.
Love that.
Shout out to Billy.
Love him.
Yes.
He came out with that tuxedo dress.
Yeah.
Listen, change the game. Thank you, Christian
yes.
Siriano, for creating that look.
I said, you know what? You shake them up.
Hey,
they were upset them. Upset them.
And really, again, it goes back to what we just said, changing the game. And there was a lot of, after Billy wore the tuxedo dress, we saw a lot more interesting fashion from men on the red carpet. So, yeah.
Love that. Be inspired, y'all. Wear what you like. Wear what you want. Don't wear what people think.
Wear what you like.
You don't have to follow trends.
No, wear what makes you comfortable.
Exactly.
Okay? Wear what you want to wear. Clothes are, I mean, don't eat me up, but I truly believe that clothes are literally just threads. They are put together. They are art pieces that are put together, but yes, they're literally just threads. It is whatever you want to wear is what you should wear.
Absolutely.
Period.
It's all about being you.
Let's play a little game, honey. You want to switch gears and do a little something?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play Dynamic Duos Fashion Edition. And pretty much we're gonna share a stylist and their like protege, and you kind of give your opinions on like, do you like this collaboration together? Like, you know, what do you think about them? They've been doing some looks, and like your thoughts about these. Okay.
Another setup.
Yes.
No, here, honey. Never that. Never that.
I'm just teasing.
Okay, so the first one is Cardi and Colin Carter.
And I have the photo.
Yes.
Come on, photo. I have not seen this either.
That's from like 2022. It was Karl Lagerfeld. Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
This duo, I think it's part of why she's so popular.
Yep.
Now, I mean, I loved her anyway, but I never and I love that for her. I never expected, shout out to the Bronx, a girl from the Bronx to come out in high fashion the way that she did.
Yeah.
I love that she did that. Yeah. So yes, 10 out, this duo, she needs to keep them on retainer and never use anyone else ever.
Yes. Love.
And I agree that it's also a part of how her career has like transcended and been so much larger. Because we find the same thing with, I'm sure she's on the list as well, with Zendaya. Law Roach had that intentional branding and said, girl, we want to put you in this market, so let's change your clothing and put you here. Okay. But yeah.
So next we have Rihanna and Jaja. I know she switches a little bit with him, but he's been, the last several years, he's been working with Rihanna.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You don't like Jaja's work?
Not as of late. It's not been my
like the maternity fashion, I think.
What?
there was a couple of looks that I liked, but I'm used to so much more from Rihanna.
Okay.
And she just could be, going through a transitional period. Maybe she's trying to find a new style or something, but it just wasn't commanding like I was used to from her.
Yeah.
And especially the post maternity stuff that she's been doing. It's not. I don't dislike it because it's not what I'm used to. I dislike it because I want something more from her that's more commanding. Yeah. And she may not want that anymore, which is up to her, but I think that's what it is. I'm like, okay, well, why you just stop there?
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I liked a few of the looks that she's done, but I will say, and don't eat me up for this, y'all, but I do think that sometimes when you're in a relationship with people and they have an effect on how you dress. Because look at like Kourtney Kardashian, like she literally like all of a sudden is a rock and roll girl. Like since she was dating Travis, and I get it because it's like that's his vibe, and it's like now I want to have a blunt cut jet black bob, and I want to wear Blink 81 t-shirts every day, and it's like it's cute, but it just was not her style that she had. And I think ASAP is definitely a fashion guy for sure, and I think that some of the things she wears is she's still Rihanna, but I think some of it can be influenced by like, oh, we're wearing this together, or like, you know what I'm saying? I think that has a little effect on it.
I see
good call.
More New York, like more certain things is different from what she usually would wear.
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from, but also
I still love some of the
I
looks,
don't think so. I think Rihanna is still in her own. If anything,
sure.
I think A$AP Rocky is changing to match her. Like I don't think that. I don't think that.
I think his style is pretty consistent to what he normally does.
I think so.
I'm not saying that like she's only like going, because Rihanna is clearly Rihanna. Like she's one of the most influential artists, period, with fashion, all that. But I'm just saying that maybe that can be the change in her style that you're seeing. Like you're used to her doing a little bit more, and I think maybe she's changed. Like when she did that maternity shoot with that puffer, the long puffer.
Yes.
Like, I mean, that was not my favorite look, but I thought that it was interesting.
It was interesting.
If you weren't dating a man from Harlem, you was not about to be wearing that puffer. Like, let's be for real. Like, we're not gonna do that. I don't think she would have did that if.
Nah,
I think she would have.
I think she would have because Beyonce. Oh Lord. I think she would have because Rihanna is always pushing the envelope. She's always doing something that we would not think her to do, and so I think that was right along the.
That look is very New York City coded, like 100%. Like no other city or state is doing that kind of look.
Agreed.
Like they're just not.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. I want. I don't remember what. I don't even remember the event anymore. The sheer nude dress with the matching headband. I don't remember where she went.
But she also was like in her 20s then, so maybe her style is just changing. Like she's getting older. She's a mom now. Maybe she's just changing things up. But yeah, love Rihanna. Okay, so next we have Dwayne Wade and Jason Bolden.
It's a sometimes.
Yeah,
I think I like the more formal wear that he does. For me, I don't even know how. I'm assuming he's in his 40s. I think when you do, it seems a little young for him. And I think if you're gonna be trendier and you're in a different generation than the trends that you're following, you have to be really, really careful. I think Steve Harvey does a really good job with that. Even though sometimes I'd be like, all right, Steve. But I really liked his stuff is late, but he's doing like some really trendy things. I'm like, all right, but he's doing it strategically, be like one piece, like maybe the shoe, and the rest of it is a little bit more his traditional style, not traditional in general, but just his traditional style. So sometimes I feel it's too young. Like maybe this was 20 years ago for him, maybe, but sometimes it just feels too young for him. I think that's like my biggest gripe, so to speak. But otherwise, like I love this color. I just don't like this cut on him. But he could get away with a much more flattering cut. Like he's tall, he's still athletic. Yeah. So
I agree. I do like more of his formal
looks.
And I feel like he is one of the men who are always on the red carpet pushing the boundaries.
Yes.
And encouraging others to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. He could do some more with his silhouettes.
Yeah. I never really pay attention to D Wade's fashion. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't.
Well, he always right there with Gary.
Yeah, but I just really don't pay him any attention like that.
I do like their collective.
Now, see, that is where I differ. I do not like their collective.
You don't like it?
No. Okay, I don't like all of them.
Yeah, I don't like all of them.
Some of them certainly hit, but I don't like all of them.
Sometimes they're going to two different things.
Yeah, which I'm also.
I mean the cohesive ones only, not the ones like the red. Like I think was it red? I think they were winning an award, or maybe Dwayne was winning the award, and everyone had on red except for the what's the young lady name? The daughter. She was in something different.
That's an icon, baby.
She was in something different, but the rest of the family was in one thing. But I did like what everybody else had on. I liked hers too. It just wasn't cohesive because I was like, why are you wearing the same thing? But she just decided that she didn't want to do that. So
now doing a little callback, do y'all think that is the same thing that happened with Brianna and A$AP Rocky? Do you think there's any correlation with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union and how their styles are?
You know, if I had to call it, and I don't know, but I feel like it would be Dwayne influencing Gabrielle.
Really?
Because she's never been that out of the box to me.
Not that out of the box, but she's
more,
had some looks.
No, she does. But I'm saying like with the like the surprising elements with those like avant-garde stuff. She doesn't do like that avant-garde kind of thing. He does. Yeah. Dwayne does. Yeah. So I feel like, you know, like what she did for her birthday. Did you see that sheer gown? Oh, her 50th birthday, she had a completely sheer gown. The whole buttocks was out.
Actually, I did see that. Yes.
Oh, actually, I remember that now.
I was like, that was her husband that picked that dress.
Yeah, I think Gabby definitely. I think she's like a timeless beauty. Mm-hmm. She's been around for years at this point, and I think she's just gorgeous. Yes. Like she's gorgeous, and she always looks great. But I don't think there's been a few times where she's done something surprising or like, oh wow, okay, girl. But she just always just looks good. Like it's just same with like a Jennifer Lopez. I feel like Jennifer, we always can expect. I feel like she does the same type of look over and over again.
No, we disagree on that one.
Yeah. I think she does the same thing. I think she always looks beautiful. I think the fitting is always amazing, but I think it's the same vibe. It's the sparkly, it's the diamond crusted.
She just wore a breastplate.
That was different. But if we look back at a lot of her red carpets over the years, it's always gonna be. A lot of times, a sweetheart necklace is going to be like a diamond. It's going to be sparkly. It's going to be, close fitting. Like, I feel like it's just always the same a lot of the times.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I think it's always the same.
I think she's always the same.
I think she
I'm thinking specifically of, she had some like Timberland boot look, and it was very menswear inspired.
Yeah, she has moments like that. But if you literally go back and look at every look from her when she first started on maybe early 2000 till now, she has this very similar it's like we know she's gonna look great, but it's very and maybe this is her personal style. I don't know, but she has similar vibes. Like I think she just knows what she likes on her body, which is great. But I think she does. Similar looks, and I think Gabby kind of plays it safe a lot, and sometimes she has her moments, but I think she's just a beautiful girl, and she's like, girl, I'm just gonna give whatever I feel.
And you might be right, friend, because I'm thinking the I do not follow J-Lo for real. Yeah. So the only times I see her looks is probably because she's pushing the boundary for some reason. So I'll give you that.
I'm still on outside.
We'll have to look. We're gonna look after the episode so I can show them that she gives the same thing, but she looks gorgeous, but it's just the same vibe. Yeah. Okay, so next we have Quinta Brunson and Brian Javar. Yes. Now Quinta is currently not working with Brian, and I'm so sorry, honey, but we can tell.
Because it's no shade.
It's no shade.
The Super Bowl commercial.
The looks are not.
The Super Bowl commercial could be one, but honey, let's go right back to the Emmys. With that crushed satin that Brittany gave.
I didn't understand that at all.
I didn't. I understood that crushed satin is a garment. I mean, it is a fabric, right? I get it, but I just don't think that in that. I don't know. It was the cut. It gave very frumpy.
Ryan, I was so sad.
Yeah. I think he did an amazing job at styling such a petite body because she only has to be like 4'11".
Yeah, if that,
right? She is a small girl, and I think he did an amazing job at making her look elongated.
Yes.
And this new person that she's working with, I don't know why she's not working with Brian, but she really needs to work with him again because he had her looking.
Yeah,
amazing. So then we have, of course, Zendaya and Law.
She just needs to just marry him or something. Because
at this point, he can't go nowhere else. Yeah.
Like, don't. What was it? She just went to
the Dunes premiere.
Oh yeah,
the two-piece Versace piece.
Oh yeah, that one was good too.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
But also the Dunes premiere where she had on like
the
actual Mugler.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And who? No one. I can't. I was trying to think. I was looking at it and I said, I'm trying to think of anyone else that I feel like could possibly pull that off.
Beyonce.
But that girl.
Well, Beyonce has, so Beyonce.
I mean, yeah.
But anyone else?
No, Beyonce gonna have her legs out though. But
I'd say
she gonna have some more. Right here is gonna be cinched. She gonna have something coming out right here, and she gonna have her legs out. She's not covering up her legs in the.
Well, no, she has worn that though. That actual
exact one?
Yeah, in the Sweet Dreams video.
Oh.
But also, I think Dominique.
Dominique.
Lord, I can't think of her last name, but she was Electra Abundance in Pose. I think Dominique would also eat that up. But Dominique also works with Mugler a lot, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, that was good at video again. But yes, love. I don't think I've ever seen her anything I didn't like.
Yeah, they always do a great job. And perfect description of what you were saying and how you kind of line your business with. Like, it's really a part of the brand.
Yes.
Like, it's bigger than just an outfit. So I love that. So next we have Beyonce and KJ Moody. Yes. Now, I know she kind of switches stylists every once in a while, but I think KJ has been.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think he's done a couple of Kelly's looks and Michelle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Michelle,
and you can tell. You can tell when he works with them. I love this.
Yeah.
This is
seems
so
like
stunning.
he brings out something different.
He does.
In Beyonce, like he really has her just like having like the looks are just extravagant. Like they're just extra.
I really love the balance of sensuality with. I don't know what the other piece is. It's like revealing with not being revealing. It's like sexy, but it's just like Drake, just stop it, just right there. Yes. And I'm not even used to that from her that much because she from stopping like she's been sexier than currently. Yeah. So I'm like I don't know if she's just just wanting to try a different vibe or whatever. I appreciate it though because it can be a really hard balance like that, and I really that's what I love about their collaboration so much because it's such a nice balance and it's a little bit different, and I feel like it's intentional. I don't think that's by mistake at all.
Yeah, and then we have Billy Porter and Ty Hunter.
Listen, and this is my favorite Billy Porter look.
This is I sent this to one of my my good friends and said this is your wedding.
Baby, right that's my wedding tux.
Okay, sorry.
I am wearing that.
Sorry. Oh my gosh, Billy doesn't know what boundaries are. He's, that's a great collaboration. This is a wonderful outfit.
It is.
Love.
This is perfect.
Okay, and then next we have Fantasia and Danielle Hawkins.
I wanted to say her earlier. Every single thing. So also, this is another example of when you align your style with your brand identity, how it elevates your entire business and the entire. So she's on tour, she's promoting her movie, and the style behind it, the intentional styling behind it, has helped with that promotion.
Yes. Exactly,
and it was supposed to. That was the point of it.
Right.
Because why you gotta slay like that to go for every interview? That's on purpose.
Yep.
To get more press and get more attention, and that's one of the points of using a brand stylist.
Exactly.
That's the results of using a really good one. And now you have all these extra promotion because of what you wore.
Yeah. It's a perfect example, and I think people don't even realize how much
the code,
the way you look. I'm sorry, it plays like the way you dress, all of that. It plays such a big how serious people take you. All of that, like when you are confident in the way you look and the way you're dressing and all that, it just radiates.
Yes.
It radiates and it makes a difference.
I'm putting attack there.
Yeah.
when you are confident.
When you are confident. It's not about other people thinking if your look is cute.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, in your series, are you using like case studies or something like that?
Oh, yes.
Because I was going to say, I mean, I'm sure you have all your things together. But I was going to say, like, Fantasia is a perfect example to use. And like you said, Zendaya, and like how that really elevated their brand and how it changed. Even Rihanna, like, from when she first came, it was very like, goody girl. Then it's good girl gone bad. Each era for her, even with somebody like Kanye, like, his era changed so much.
Sierra.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because what's Sierra doing?
Right.
Sierra is being a mother.
Right. But has she been anywhere? Has she been on that red carpet and we didn't know about it? And she hasn't released, she has released music. But has she consistently been releasing music or been in movies or anything? No, we know that. No. We know her for slaying.
Yeah.
And that's intentional. Her red carpet looks get more attention than her singles. And I like the single. That's not shade. I like the single.
I wouldn't teeter on saying that she's a...
Maybe as of late, the last years when she hasn't been dropping anything.
Yes.
But I think Sierra is... I think Sierra is very much so just an icon of her own with the music, with all of that. Like, she just brought that Atlanta vibe and all of that. But I see what you're saying.
No, she's I see
what you're saying, though.
We're not discrediting the history.
Right.
Just saying, like, as
of late, it's definitely more of
just know and expect for her to show up looking away. And that's how she's been staying relevant, aside from being a mother and from dropping the few singles that she dropped.
Yes. Okay, so we have two more. Okay. Coleman Domingo and Wayman and Micah.
I mean, I already spoke on this. This was the idea to put this coat on this mustard.
Yes.
Genius.
Yes.
Genius.
Coleman is fine.
Genius. That too.
What?
And I love that
he is. I'm sorry, he is. He really is.
I just love that he was brave enough to do it. And then a pale blue shirt, not just white. And that's also intentional.
You're changing
because it shows up a little bit more, that pale blue. And it's I actually saw, or I posted about doing a light or a pastel shirt under suits instead of just doing white.
Yeah.
Because it shows up in pictures better. Just a little tint. Genius.
He has really been hitting
every time
all the marks.
Every time.
I have enjoyed. I think out of I love Fantasia's styling as well, but I think out of the entire Color Purple cast, I have been really looking at
Coleman. Yeah. Coleman and Fantasia were it for me, for sure. Okay, so lastly we have Ryan Destiny and Scott Louis.
To be honest, I didn't even know this was a thing. No, I like Ryan Destiny.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I want to put these shoes with something else. Something is not meshing for me. I don't know what it is. I like the blazer dress and I like the shoes separately. I don't know, something about it together. Maybe the hair is not doing it. It's something. It's something.
Okay.
So I haven't been following this pairing to have any other opinion other than this one outfit I'm looking at right now, and it's not moving me.
Well, that's honest. So thank you for playing our dynamic duo game. Alrighty, so we alluded a little bit to it earlier, but I really want to get back into the conversation of sustainable fashion. So this year, I really have been getting into pieces that aren't just upcycled, that aren't just thrifted, that aren't just secondhand, but pieces that are created to last me 10, 20 years down the line. So in the same vein that some of the clothes you had in your closet came from your mom, who was like from years ago, but still were on trend, or not on trend, but still were staples, right?
Yes.
So my question to you is, when you are purchasing looks for your clients to put into their wardrobe, what are some things that we should look for, or that you look for, as it relates to sustainability? Or longevity? Maybe that's a better term.
So it's really just two things. It's color and it's just the material, what it's made out of, and just making sure that that piece is high quality. That's the two main things that I look for. My goal is, if I'm for myself as well, when I'm styling or purchasing something for myself, to not have to rebuy this item ever, well, not ever again, but at least for a really, really long time. So that's definitely always a goal. I want you to be able to wear it over and over and over again in different ways. Especially since a lot of my clients are super busy, professionals and they want to be able to mix and match their wardrobe. So it's really important that that blazer that we purchased can be worn over and over again, and it can stand up to the wear and tear of being worn, 2-3 times a week or maybe more, depending on what they're doing and what color it is. So that's really the two biggest things I look for.
Now, as a follow-up to that, when we're thinking about what's in, not necessarily following trends, but like what are the things that are in and the people that are wearing, how do you, or even if you do, how do you make sure that the sustainable pieces that you buy are also fashionable in the now? Like they're trendy, but they're still sustainable. Like, do you think about that at all, really?
No, I will be honest. I'm not. No, I'm not going out of my way to make sure it's trendy. What I do think about is if it aligns with whoever, whatever the personal style of the client is.
Right. Yeah.
And if it calls back to what would represent them fully, I do think about that. But outside of that, no, I'm not trying to see or make sure that it's also trendy. And if I do see a trendy piece, I make sure I have that conversation with my client. Like, hey,
this is in now.
Yeah, I can't guarantee, but this is cute. And I really have it's a 3 outfit rule. If you're going to buy something, it needs to go with 3 things.
I love that. Yeah.
And I do it for myself too.
I do it for myself as well.
And I need to think of the 3 outfits or the 3 pieces that I already own
that you can mix with that
it goes with. Yeah. And if I cannot do that, it has to stay where it is.
You know what? Now that's the part that I don't do.
You have to own it already.
I do buy things and I'm like, I can wear this with this, and this. But I don't always
see the problem with
in
that.
My head immediately.
Unless you're really good at it and you're like good at following up with yourself, unless you're gonna go out and go get the 3 things it matches with immediately, because what happens is it just sits there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get it, and that's becomes something in your wardrobe you're not wearing.
Yeah.
So you should. I really really push for already owning it or immediate future purchasing, like the next day or the next week. And if I'm working with you, then you could just have me do it. But yeah,
I love that, because I think when I was younger, I would always feel like if it was something that was like, I don't know, like not out there, but just like something that I probably wouldn't want to wear frequently, and I would feel like, man, I only can wear this once. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was younger, I just had that mindset of like, oh man, and it probably just because of like stupid stuff when you're younger. It's like, oh, this person wearing the same thing, whatever.
Yes.
And I feel like that's a real thing, like people can relate to. And like I always have been into fashion, but as I've gotten older, it's just like I love that I can like recreate different things that I have over and over again.
Listen, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I only recently broke through that bondage, maybe 3 years ago, of wearing things over.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Now that I've broken through them chains, first of all, it forces me to be more creative.
I like to say that.
It forces me to be more creative. But it's so much fun when I go and I'm like, I made this seem like a completely different outfit. I've worn this like 5 times. I love that feeling. And I said to I don't know who told me I was a Kardashian and I could only wear something one time. I mean, I know I'm a celebrity in my head a little bit, but that's not even a little bit of practical at all. There's no reason. It's just so ridiculous. And even if you we took a picture of it and posted on Instagram. So
nice be me.
That's what I'm gonna say. That's really where it comes from.
Who was scrolling through the feed and saying Tiffany wore that on September 17th in 2020.
Right.
And if you are, you know what? Book.
Girl, what does your closet look like?
Click on the link then. If you're already on the page scrolling like that, you might as well just click on the link.
Here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Exactly.
But yes.
We hear y'all looks. I feel like that's so important. It's something I had to learn. I think it just comes with, like you said, you get to be more creative. Yes. And it really shows that you know how to put things together.
Yes.
You know? And I love that. And I'm like, girl, you can wear this again, girl. Just remake it new.
It came from our childhood. I don't know if it's just us. It probably is, but like
it was certainly
you wore something too many times and people used to make fun of you for it. So I think that's where that comes from.
That's really what it is. It's certainly us. And then it even amplified when social media came in. Like you said, we posted it already. We have this celebrity type perception of ourselves, and so we think that the blogs are looking at us and saying, Oh, well, bitch, I wore this multiple times, girl. They're not looking at us yet.
And even when they do.
And when they do.
What Tiffany had to say?
She wore that dress about 7 times.
She said, I'm going to wear it again.
She said, I paid $3,000 for it.
No, that's right.
Because I bought it.
And I love that she did that.
Yeah.
Right, because you
Wear
got
it
to.
again.
Wear it again. Why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to wear this again.
And even if you don't recreate it, girl, wear it again.
Exactly. It's your clothes and you pay for it, so you can wear it, as long as it's clean.
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Please clean them. Yes, please clean them.
Okay, so when we see people who have these signature looks, and it really, again, it's a part of their personal brand. And the first person I really think of is like Anna Wintour with her bob. Like, Anna has had that bob longer than we've been alive. Like, Anna has been wearing that bob, honey. And that's just her signature. And then even with Beyonce with the blonde hair, and then Fantasia with her pixie cut, like, it's something that's very, like, a part of their brand. It's huge parts of their brands. So what do you think about people having a signature look? And do you think they should switch it up? And if not, how do you marry that signature look with, like, the evolving fashion landscape? I know that was like 3 questions.
It was. I might have to. How you run it
So the
back.
first one is, what do you think about people having a signature look, like the Anna Wintours, the Beyoncés, the Fantasias of the world?
I think it's essential to personal branding.
Okay.
I think, it's essential.
So you don't
to
think
personal
Anna
branding.
need to dye her bob blonde?
That's not what I said. I think having a signature look is essential to personal branding.
Yeah.
And I think I'll answer that in the next question.
Yes. And then, do you think people should switch it up?
Yes. Okay. Yes. It doesn't mean, and I think that's where the fun for either the person or the stylist or both comes in. The creativity is what could I do with Anna to still keep her Anna, but update it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What can I do? And that the answer to that question is the look that you would see.
Right.
But you have to ask yourself that question.
Exactly.
Or if you just do something completely different and then go back to your regular thing. But do I think she specifically Anna? Yes.
I'm trying to think what I could see Anna in though.
I don't know. I have to think about that. I can't
I
come up
think
with
the
it.
bob is the bob.
She could do. There are different types of bobs. So there's that.
She could do a little longer.
She could do shorter. Yeah. She could do longer. She could
shorter.
Change the color.
But see, this is where I differ though, because it goes back to personal branding. So I think of it as I think of myself as an entity, right? So think about like per se McDonald's, right? So you see McDonald's, you know their branding, whatever. But you also can see those arches anywhere and know that it's McDonald's.
Yeah.
I can see that bob without Anna and know that it's Anna Wintour. And so I feel like maybe the clothes can change. Maybe something else changes. But the bob, I feel like, is a...
She had that bob since like the 80s.
No, I think that, I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't mean that it has to look the same exact way. And what you were saying is maybe it just changes color, maybe it changes length. There's different ways to represent the same persona and just switch it up. And that's where the creativity comes from. So like Ronald McDonald also represents McDonald's, and there's no arches. Well, maybe does he have arches on his thing? He might have arches on there. But or the Hamburglar or any of those other characters, they also represent McDonald's.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to still represent your brand without looking the exact same way. Like if your brand colors are green and red, does that mean you have to wear green and red all the time? And this is a question I get all the time. No, you do not have to wear your brand colors all the time. But what your brand represents, do you want to try to call back to that? And if you are, trying to invoke more of a serene or calm feeling, do you probably want to stay in your greens and your neutrals a little bit more? Sure.
Right.
Does that mean you can never wear red? No, it doesn't. But majority, you might want to call back to a certain sector, but it doesn't. It gives you a guideline, and that's what it's for. It's a guideline, but it's not a jail cell.
Right.
And I feel like when people use it as a jail cell, like, I have to always wear pink because my brand color is pink. That's where creativity goes to die in situations like that. So that's why we drag Anna so much, because she won't change anything and is no longer serving her.
But that's why I'm going to differ, because I think the brand is still going to be there, but the bob itself, like the color, the cut, all of that is a signature look. Like, and if you change it, then you are changing, like. Going back to McDonald's.
Pink came out and Pink's hair was pink, and now it's not. It's blonde.
Well, her name is also pink. So, but think about this. McDonald's, right? Yes, the arches, whatever, and they change and they have brand refreshes, but there's always something that you know is still McDonald's. Yeah. I'm saying with Anna Wintour, the Bob is the arches. And everything else around
the Bob is our. That's what this episode be called. The Bob is the arches. I love that.
But like the Bob is the arches, and everything else around it can change. So maybe it's a new glass. Maybe it's a new silhouette that she does. That's where I'm saying like yes, but there needs to be something that is still evident that like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm describing.
No, I see what you're saying. I see both sides of it. I see what you're saying, but I agree that like. And it's also if she even wants to change, because Anna probably like
going back to personal branding. What do you want to do?
She don't want to change anything. But I would love to see Anna do a little cover shoot and she just change it up and do something different. I would love to, but that's probably not going to happen because she don't really got to.
She don't have to.
None of us have to if you don't really want to. If that's not what you want to do. But she has that. It has been her look since like the 80s.
It's just like, I mean, and going back to Beyonce, but I didn't think she would even do this shade of blonde.
Right.
Because she's, she's like stepped down to her, brunette and everything like that. But
yeah,
she likes to stay that honey blonde.
Yeah,
because we know her for that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Even Nene Leakes, my girl, she's a natural blonde.
Yes.
She is not leaving a natural blonde. She is a natural blonde, honey.
An example of this is Fantasia. Her 7 piece has changed.
It's been different colors.
But it's still.
That's still her vibe. But she does play with it. Even Beyonce. Beyonce does the blonde, but Beyonce also changes it up. Sometimes she does her natural hair that which has the darker blacks and the browns, and then she has done a jet black look. She changes it up.
When she do jet black?
She's done jet black a couple of
jet
times.
black?
Well, this is early Beyonce.
Yeah, early Beyonce. But she did it for like some other things a couple years ago.
This is like
she was like Lil Kim and she did it, and she did a couple of things.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
This is pre-Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, she did it a couple
Sasha
times.
Fierce is really where the blonde really became the staple. We've been talking a lot about personal brand stylists, personal stylists. What is the difference between a personal stylist, a wardrobe stylist, a fashion stylist, a brand stylist? Like, what are the differences in them?
So, I'll just separate into 2 buckets. So, a fashion stylist is your stylist for, I don't want to say celebrities in general, but like your red carpet sort of stylist, or your celebrities or celebrity adjacent, however you want to categorize those people. Yes. Or someone where you have them curate looks for you and you're like, hey, this is my style. It's kind of this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Help me stay in this persona, in this brand that I've chosen. Or this is the event, these are the guidelines. Can you find me a look that matches where I'm going, what I'm doing, and this is my budget and size and all of the things. It could be much more layered than that, but I'm gonna just keep it right there. The difference between that and a brand stylist like I am is that I'm connecting your exterior, your clothing, on all of that back to your business, back to your personal brand.
Yeah.
And so that means if we are styling you for a gala, like even that look is going to go back to however we defined you as however your brand identity is defined. So that's really important. If you're just, a regular person, you don't have a business or a brand to represent, then you don't have to think about those sort of guidelines. And so a fashion stylist, and not that I do both, but fashion styles would be more appropriate. Yeah. But if you're always trying to make sure that every time you go out, like the arches are there somewhere, somehow.
The Bob is the arches.
That the arches are somewhere there, so people are like, oh, calls back to whatever. That's what a brand stylist is for.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Okay, so then when people are when they're shopping for stylists, whether they're shopping for a fashion stylist or a brand stylist or what have you, what are some characteristics that they should look for in a stylist?
So...
Because everybody can't style you, baby. No shade.
So some people, or some stylists / people, they're really great at dressing themselves. And just like hairstylists or any other creative, honestly. But when it comes to doing it for other people, there's just a different block. Or they'll dress everyone in their personal style or things that are similar to their personal style. And whether it's a capacity thing or a preference for the stylist, I don't know. I can't speak to that, but that's just something that I noticed. So when you're looking, you want to see that that they have the capacity or capability, however you want to put it, to style it at least somewhere in how you may not have a personal style, but you want to like their work. Yeah. Just like when you pick an interior decorator, like interior designer, they can design anything, but they usually have a sort of aesthetic that they might stay in or stay around. Yeah. And so the same thing for stylists. Like we should be able to style anybody in anything, but we all have aesthetics that we kind of stay around. So you want to see what that is, and make sure you're aligned with it. And then just the other piece is just seeing some variety. Again, it could be in that box. It can be in that similar aesthetic, like, okay, this is the gist, but you want to be able to see that they can go and do this if needed, and they can go and do this if needed, because seeing that sort of flexibility and creativity is really important when you have somebody. This is client services, so you want to know that the person is working for you is able to be creative and flexible in that way if you decide that you want something out of their box and out of your box.
Right. Love that. So last year, Ben and myself, we went to Ty Hunter's book signing in D.C., and he spoke about the early Destiny Child's days and how, because they were Southern women, they were curvier than other artists, and they were Black women, that a lot of the major fashion houses didn't want to work with them at all. And Mama Tina and Uncle Johnny and Ty created a lot of their custom looks that we've seen, some of these iconic looks on the red carpet. But Mama Tina and Ty, they didn't let that stop them, and they obviously continued to design for the group. So what are your thoughts on like the evolving fashion industry currently, and how like obviously now they're dying to dress, you know, the Beyoncés of the world or the Kellys or Michelles or whomever?
So, yes, there are a lot of strides that have been made. There are a lot more options. So I am, obviously the industry I am in, I'm really excited and appreciative of that. However, there is so much more to be done. Yeah. It should not be this difficult. It still is a level of difficulty to find sizes over, I'm going to say 14, 16 is when it starts to get wonky. To have the creativity that it's just the creativity that happens after size 14, 16 is not the same as the ones under. Yeah. It should not be the average U.S. size. I don't know if this is the world, but the average U.S. size is about a 9.5. Yeah. It should not be this hard to find heels in size 10 and 11 the way that it is. So, and they know that, and these people, they know that this demand is here, and it's just it's a refusal to cater. So, at this point, it's a refusal to cater, or even jeans. There's still the same jean issue, because, you know, that we tend to be curvier, and so you get this gap in the back when I try to go source jeans for my clients. It's still there. It's still there, and there's only one ethnicity of client that I seem to have that issue with, because the jeans are not made for Black women. Yeah. And so again, there's a lot more variety, and there's a lot more options, and there's a lot more Black owned brands, thank goodness. That are helping, and I'm able to, you know, shop from and use for my clients. So that's fantastic, and I'm loving to see that there's more Black luxury brands. Yeah. Brandon Blackwood, shout out to him, it's one of my favorites, and I can't wait till he starts going more and more into
the Brandon Blackwood bag.
I mean, just when he first came out, I was like, yes, New York Jamaican, come on. Then he got to the red carpet. So I'm when the ready to wear comes, I know he's gonna do us right. I know he's gonna do us right, but. So there's more of that. Yeah. So I'm very grateful of that. I just also wish that the established brands would expand. And again, it's a refusal, and, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, all right, well, maybe we just got to go make our own table because they don't want to give us a seated one. Yep. And it sucks because, you know, I love them. Yeah. You know, and I want to dress personally and professionally, personally for myself, and dress my clients in them. But you know, my clients are average size. A lot of them are average size, you know, U.S. Americans, and they're not making stuff. And I'm honestly, every time I go look for something, I'm surprised over and over again that it takes as much work, or I just can't find something. Yeah. And it's 2024, and it really, really shouldn't be like that. So that's my soapbox.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think a lot of people still are just having a hard time finding things, whether if it's height, size, all of that. Like, it's always a struggle. But like you said, I've been very intentional this year about shopping at Black-owned or African brands, or just Black period, and just really shopping and like really trying to build a capsule wardrobe versus like the things that I just had that I'm like need to let go of that I've had for so long. And it's like, okay, babe, it's time to move on, girl. You're getting to the 30s now, babe. It's time to let that go. So I am working on that. I just pray for me, because it's, you know, it's hard when you have connection with clothes and it's just hard to let certain things go.
Give them to somebody else who would love them, right? Like,
I did, but it's time for me to do another. It's time for me to do another. Like,
well, girl,
I have to get rid of. Yes, it's time for me to do another one. Yes. But no, I love that, and it's easy. It's easy to say like we could just create our own, and we can. But it would be nice if we could just go to the regular places and feel like, you know, okay, let me just get whatever I'm gonna get. And it's definitely an ongoing struggle, but I really guide that on the brands that I support. And I know it's hard to just cancel someone, because sometimes you just gotta shop at whatever store, because you gotta get whatever. But sometimes I've really been trying to be intentional about where I shop too, because when we see places like a Victoria's Secret who has been around for years and years and years, and they never cater to, you know, curvier bodies or whatever, and now we have Savage X that just came out not too long ago, and they were able to cater. To me, it's about if that's something that you want to do, and clearly you don't want to.
Right.
So yeah.
So this comes to the part of the episode where we are going to raise a glass. So at this point, we raise a glass or give a celebration to anyone who has really been doing well in the culture or not. And we raise a glass to them. So who would you like to raise a glass to this week, if you'd like to?
So I would like to raise a glass today, and we talked about them earlier, but to Law Roach and Zendaya for the Dune Part 2 premiere, that iconic look that she wore, and just their collaboration. I know Law says he's retiring, but maybe it doesn't look like it. But I want to raise a glass to them because I love the partnership. Yeah, so cheers.
Cheers to them.
Cheers.
And Ben, what about you?
That ginger beer is really hitting the back of my... For real. For some reason, I have really been doing a deep dive into Andre Leon Talley, and really learning more about what he offered for the fashion community. I knew the impact that he had, but I don't think that I knew exactly the actual like doors that he's opened, the doors that he has walked through, or the things that he had to go through, so that Edward Enninful could be the British Vogue editor. And shout out to Edward for all that he's done as he's on his way out. But also, again, Andre Leon Talley opening the door for like Law Roach, opening the door for Jason Bolden, opening the door for all these, the Virgils of the world. And so I want to raise a glass posthumously to Andre Leon Talley. If you do not know his story, please do yourself a favor and go read. Don't just watch the documentaries, go read. Okay. Read his articles, read what what were saying about him, and his contributions. And it's really impactful. So I'm raising a glass to Andre Leon Talley.
Nice.
Yes. Nice. Tiffany, who are you raising a glass to this week?
I will raise a glass to my godbrother, Jordan Temple. He's a writer on Abbott Elementary.
Oh,
and so I am super ecstatic for where the show has started and just where it's going, and I'm very, very proud of him. And so I would love to raise a glass to him.
Well, shout out to you, Jordan. We are loving this current season. Well, I've loved all the seasons, honey. We are loving this current season. So yeah, shout out to you.
Shout out to you. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us yet again for another episode. Yes. We are so excited for season 3. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you guys check out her series. They can still join or...
Yes. Registration is still open. Yes. It closes Wednesday, so...
Yes, so get on it. Make sure you tune in and support her. Follow Tiffany. Follow us. Make sure you subscribe. And comment below. Interact with the episode. And where can they follow you, Tiffany?
So my Instagram handle is Style by Tip. It's STYLEBYTIPP. So it's 2 P's. And using that, you can find me everywhere else.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll put all her information down below, of course. But yes, make sure you guys stay tuned. And is that?
I think that's it. Thank y'all for watching. We love y'all. And until next time, cocktails and culture. Get it from my baby, what's now?